So the first one we're going to get into is loyalty. And you could package these traits this way. Leaders are blank. Leaders are loyal. And when I'm writing about loyalty for Step Up and Lead, the question that I had going on in my mind is, what group of individuals can I talk about that really display loyalty? And I thought about the people that served in our armed forces. How come, after just a few years of service, people that served in our armed forces display a lifetime of loyalty? How many people here served? Everybody give them a hand, please. Thank you. Thank you. I appreciate that. And you two are better equipped to answer this than I am. But I can say that I've been from West Point Academy to Camp Pendleton teaching this. I've been to probably about 5 or 6 Army bases, naval bases, spoke to the Air Force. With this exact class I'm giving you right now, and I can tell you that they appreciate the message. They feel that it's spot on. I think the answer is our military, the reason that they display that lifetime of loyalty is because they're taught core values. Core values, which we have not spent enough time teaching people in the fire service. Core values like the ones we're going to talk about today. When you hear people like Norman Schwarzkopf or General Powell speak about what they've learned about leadership, you'll hear them reference when they were in the academy, how they learned these core values at a young age. And then it was reinforced up on a battlefield. When you read about General Hal Moore, you hear about his core values, and you start to understand. And I'm passionate about learning from these individuals. But you start to understand that it wasn't just about the tactics. I remember hearing Schwarzkopf one time saying, to be a leader, you need strategy and character. But if you're going to be without one, be without strategy. That's a powerful statement, isn't it? So the incident commander pulls the officers together and says, hey, what we're doing isn't working. We need another plan. That's what he said. But what he really said was this: my best thinking isn't getting a job done. Who has a better idea? That's what he really said. And you have to respect the person who at that time can say, I have a lot of talent around me right now. I have a lot of people here. 4 companies. I got police officers on top of it. I have EMS. I have a lot of people around me. Somebody might have a better idea of what we're doing because this plan isn't working. And one of the young firefighters overhears it and says, hey, Chief, if we can cut that pole and we can work on it from the other side, we'll get her out quickly. But you can't cut that pole. We got power lines on top of that. But it prompted one of the officers to say, you know what? There's enough of us here right now. We could pick up the car and move it. Chief says, get on. But here's the moral of the story. The best ideas have to win. The best ideas have to win. And if you're in a leadership position, understand that the best ideas may not always be yours. We have to humble ourselves to realize that. And I'm not saying to go to an incident and take a poll and say who's got the better idea. We need to train so we have the best ideas. We need to train in hostile environments so we're prepared to work in hostile environments. But when you reach that moment where what you're doing isn't working, more importantly, as we're preparing for those moments, we have to start realizing what are the best ideas. What are the best ways because that's what an SOP is, by the way. An SOP is the one best way you found to do something. That's the goal of it. Sometimes we need to understand what we're doing has to adapt. We need to adapt with it. Be willing to make the decisions. Here's two reasons why leaders fail. They think without ever doing, or they do without ever thinking. It's okay to think of the best action to take, but you better be taking action. And if you need to adapt, that's why that's one of the traits that we have up there. Because one of the hardest things is working under a leader that doesn't ever let you know what they want, especially if they come down on you when you do the wrong thing. They're coming down on you when you're doing the wrong thing, but they don't even tell you what the right thing is. So I said, this is what I want. 3 hours of training a day. Every day we come to work, we need to expect the fire. I didn't want people to come to work to get rest from their full-time job. You know what I mean? This is the full-time job. Expect a fire. In the days we don't have a fire, we train for a fire. What will your legacy be? We're talking about honor. You know, you determine your own actions. You determine the actions that you take on a daily basis. But what's really interesting about being honorable and legacy is it's going to be other people that determine your legacy when you're done. So we talk about respect. I talked about respect a lot today. I'll talk about it a lot this afternoon after lunch. But I want you to think about this for a second. Everyone knows respect is earned. But what we don't say enough is this: you'll never get respect if you don't give it.